everyone, welcome back to another video on the Wrestle Debate and to another edition of NXT Out of 10. An interesting episode of NXT now. Takeover 36 is obviously massively in the rearview mirror, and we're full focus ahead now. This new era of NXT, lots happening. We've got Mandy Rose making her debut and Samoa Joe having an interview, so it kind of doesn't feel like a new era, but let's get straight into it. Starting off with Mandy Rose's return to NXT. Rose was cautious as the match started, the managed to take Saray down. Saray missed a crossbody off the ropes before Rose took her to the corner and loaded on the Japanese star. Saray tried for a submission, but Rose broke free with a poke to the eyes. Rose was on the ropes and hit a huge dropkick. Jane ran to the timekeeper's area to grab a towel as if she suffered a legitimate injury. The trio walked off as Saray got the win. I think this is a 5 out of 10. Obviously, it couldn't really be helped, but yeah, I think it's safe to say this wasn't the ideal debut. Before Tommaso Ciampa was in a backstage promo on NXT and said that he had no issue with how Holland won his bout last week, and he said that a motivated Ciampa would be a dangerous one. Before he got Kyle O'Reilly versus Duke Hudson. Hudson had an early advantage before O'Reilly tried a sleeper hold but failed to lock it in. Hudson sent Kyle into the corner and taunted him before landing a gutbuster. O'Reilly looked at a guillotine choke, but Hudson rammed him into the corner. O'Reilly laid a flying knee into the top of Hudson's knee before locking in a heel hook for the win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty straightforward win for Kyle O'Reilly. Just continuing momentum after his win at TakeOver 36. Dragunov is out next on NXT and limped his way to the ring to celebrate his UK win as the crowd chanted, "You deserved it." Ilya added that the ring general had fallen and long live the Cesar to conclude the segment. This was fine. Just a quick little segment. Ilya celebrating his win really puts him over after defeating Walter. Before we got Kaylee Ray in a backstage segment and said she was capable of anything and the others in the locker room could not match her. Typical. Fine. Before Carmelo Hayes was backstage on NXT and held an exchange with Santos Escobar. Before he got Imperium and Drake Maverick versus Grace and Walter and Drake Maverick. I got botched up, but you know what I mean. Whether he starts the match with Eichner in the ring was dominating. Before Bartel regained control for Imperium and kicked Grayson all over the ring as the match went on. Weller tagged in for Maverick and he took over the control before Weller tagged himself in and was kicked in the head before Bartel tossed Drake out of the ring and hit their finisher on Weller to get the win. This was a comfortable win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Nothing spectacular, but he just gets Imperium over before Jane and Dolan took out Saray backstage before NXT continued. Kind of interested where that's going, but anyway, we got LA Knight versus Johnny Gargano. Knight planted Gargano on the mat early on before Johnny hit a Hurricane Rana and an inverted atomic drum. Gargano followed up with a drop kick and got a near fall off the backside after the break. And before Loomis caught him outside of the ring, Gargano came back and was hit with a super kick. Knight used this distraction to hit his finisher and get the win. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. This is a good match, and then obviously just building up that Gargano-Loomis tension. Before we got the NXT Tag Team Champs, MSK, and they went to William Regal's office to say they wanted to give Imperium a chance at the belts. William Regal duly accepted before we got Raquel Gonzalez versus Jessie Kamea. Gonzalez started out strong and hung Kamea on the ropes. Gonzalez returned from a dropkick that Kamea hit by hitting another move and hit the Chinchilla bomb for the win, regardless of her injured leg. Shame for Jessie Kamea, but basically just an easy win for the champ as she continues her momentum. No issue with that. Before, next up, Ember Moon was fired back at Kaylee Ray and was underestimating her and challenged her for the former NXT UK's champion next week. Before Samoa Joe was backstage on NXT and said that he wants to set a precedent for the title and set a benchmark for what it takes to secure the goal. He wants to see it in the locker room and risk for the top prize. Before he got Roderick Strong versus Sycamore Giro, Strong was dominating from the start and Giro was sent outside before being dominated. Strong hit a backbreaker for a near fall before locking a submission move. Giro was dominated from the top rope before Strong kicked him into the mat. Giro got some momentum and took Strong down with a big strike and bouncing him off the top rope. Ickerman got a near fall off the springboard moonsault before taking another backbreaker. Strong hit one more to seal the win. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Shame to see Giro jog out, but a comfortable win. Before we moved on, there were several segments before we got to our main event, and it started off with Io Shirai and Zoe Stark were backstage with Carter and Catanzaro, and Zoe said that her team were going to tolerate each other and win next week before we got Grimes was backstage as NXT continued, and the GYV came out to mock his fake $1 million title. Grimes dropped the belt on the floor on Gibson's foot before tossing money at him and walking off before we got Champa versus Holland. Champa took Holland to the mat early on, but he was overpowered and took a belly-to-belly suplex from the big man. Champa got a knee strike in the corner before Dunn and his crew dragged Holland out of the ring. Back after a break, Champa hit a big kick after a knee strike, but took an uppercut. Champa hit some big lariats in the corner before nearly getting in the pin, and hit the overhead crash for another near fall before taking a headbutt. Champa was being tossed around the ring before Holland dragged Champa back on the apron as the Blackheart countered the big move. Champa went for Willow's bell and it landed in the win for him. I was surprised at this result before Dunn attacked Champa after the match and took him out with the help of Lorcan and Birch. MSK walked down and Dunn and his group escaped backstage before NXT went off the air. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was a great match. I'm kind of surprised by the result. I think I probably would have put Ridge Holland over. But King, fine to see where it goes. But anyway, guys, overall, NXT gets a 7 out of 10 from me. It was a fairly decent show this week. Lots of good matches. There were some booking decisions I wasn't entirely sure of. So I'm mixed between a 7 and a 6. But, I'll be positive and give it a 7. On the whole, it was fine. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Know your thoughts, comments, numbers, and follow on to the link in the description below for daily wrestling news. And subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.